And 2 laps later, in the same corner, someone does something stupid again. Someone even has to unclip. And I'm just like, what is going on? Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. It's been a while, but we're finally back with some new videos. This is from a little bit earlier in the season. This is one of our kind of midweek crit series that happens during the summertime here in Colorado. And this is the P123 field, and normally it has a really big turnout, about 80 plus people every time, and sometimes you get pros that show up and everything, so it can be pretty fun. But unfortunately the course is relatively boring. As you can see, it's really not technical at all. And so the races kind of play out a little bit more like a road race versus a crit, in my opinion. But it's really good training, especially for positioning, end of race positioning, which we'll talk a lot about later in the video. And right now we're about 15 minutes into the race, and kind of how these races play out a lot of the times is people kind of attack off the front, and then a group will kind of go, and most of the times those moves don't stay away, but it's definitely something you have to watch for. So you can kind of see I'm mostly in kind of the front third, but it's getting really strung out. So I'm going to put in a little bit of effort here. You can see this automatic rider in the orange on the right. He's just kind of dropping wheels and making it really difficult for all of us because he has a teammate up the road. So he's just trying to be annoying, I think. We're now about halfway through the race, and I'm kind of sheltering myself from the wind here. This course is on top of like a mesa, so it can kind of get a little windy. And now you can see our friend, the automatic rider, doing the same thing again, dropping wheels. And while I get it, make it harder and, for other people, I'm just like, it's just an annoying way to race, if I'm being completely honest. So let me know in the comments what y'all think of just people constantly just dropping wheels like that. I find it just annoying, but curious your thoughts. But yeah, so me and a couple primal riders are gonna just close this gap. Wasn't really consequential at all. Didn't really have to spike up the watts there too much. And judging how the race has gone so far, I'm thinking it's gonna really just come down to a field sprint at the end, but you never know. So I'm just gonna try and stay relatively near the front. But then someone decides to grab a lot of brakes and kind of get me and that automatic rider elbow a little bit. So not sure what some people are doing. And 2 laps later, in the same corner, someone does something stupid again. Someone even has to unclip. And I'm just like, what is going on? I think with courses like this that are just very, not technical at all, people just stop paying attention, and that's how crashes happen. But fortunately, everyone was good there. I ended up moving to the back to conserve a little bit of energy, but now it's kind of time to start moving to the front, and this guy's gonna make a big move, use some energy, and so I'm just gonna kind of follow him up. And you can kind of see gaps forming as well. And another thing that's interesting about these midweek races is there's also a sprint point competition. So basically every third lap, people will be kind of competing for the sprint. But one of the things that can happen is that the race will get really fast, and there will be kind of some splits that happen, trying to get the sprint points, but then people will just continue on and get into a break. So this can kind of be a little bit dangerous. And with this one having a bunch of splits in the field, I'm definitely going to want to keep an eye on some of these lead guys to make sure that a break doesn't go late, because we're under 5 miles to go. And on this straight, I'm really going to try to get myself all the way to the right, because we're having a little bit of a crosswind. It's kind of like a cross headwind here. So Now we have our friend Mr. Automatic. I'm gonna try and get around, and we end up elbowing again. So seems like we're always in the same place. And so you can kind of see the echelon forming a little bit. And I'm not really going for sprint points at all because I don't come out every week, and so I'm not gonna get enough points anyway. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of following wheels here. And we actually have a pretty big gap on main field here. And there's only 3 laps to go, so this could be dangerous, but everyone kind of ends up sitting up, so it ends up not going anywhere. We're now coming into 1 lap to go. And this finishing straight, typically, if this is the final lap, I'm going to want to be on the right side, but I'm going to kind of move up here on the left side so that once we make this turn, I'm going to be sheltered from the wind. And right now, I'm just going to really try and hold myself roughly, 20th place or so. These are long laps. We have 1.5 miles to go. It's about 2.5 minutes, I think, a lap or something like that. So I'm going to try and just conserve energy here. Leading up to this, it was a little, having to chase some moves a little bit, so my heart rate is still a little bit high. So I'm going to try and bring that down and just kind of slot here into the pack. And so I'm also trying to, started on the left side. Now I'm going to start moving a little bit towards the right side, so that now that we're going to be starting to come around again, I'm going to be in the sheltered position, because once we get on that finishing straight, I'm going to really want to be on that right side of the road, so I'm not eating a bunch of wind. Of course, that's easier said than done when you don't have teammates, so you're kind of at the mercy of what other people are doing. But I'm pretty happy with my position right here. My heart rate's dropped back down into the low 170s, but I see this opportunity to move over on the right side, so I'm going to make an effort here, putting out a little bit of watts, but again, sheltered, being on this right side. And you can kind of see there's a few guys moving up the road there, but I'm not chasing that down. And also Primal is on the front, so they're definitely not going to let that move go. So I'm just going to be patient here, just kind of sit in the wheels. I think I'm probably like 15th position. But you can see my heart rate is jacked. We've been having to put out a lot of watts. This is slightly of like an uphill section. It's kind of like a false flat. So it ends up hurting a little bit, but I'm feeling pretty good. So I'm just gonna try and hold where I'm at. This final straight is like 700 meters long, so it's pretty long. You don't want to get out into the wind too fast, but what ends up happening is I feel like every time in this race, someone kind of like gaps off the front and ends up, holding off people for the finish. And that's kind of what happens here. I'm gonna, follow wheels and try to, hide in the draft here as long as possible. I really don't want to go till 200 meters to go, but you can kind of see people are just dropping wheels left and right. It was a pretty windy day, so that definitely hurts. But I'm gonna follow this guy and then spike up and then take the direct line, since it's kind of slight bend to the finish line, and end up getting 6th place. So not too bad of a result. It was 6 out of, whatever, like 80, 85 people. So pretty happy with that. I feel like this course really does not fit my skill set at all, because it's wide open. It's normally pretty windy. There's no technical turns at all. So definitely not a course that fits me, but you got to be happy anytime you get a top 10 on a big field. But thanks so much for watching. I have a couple more of these from this crit series that are pretty exciting, because some pro teams show up to the next 2 that I'll cover. So definitely like and subscribe if you want to see more of these, and I will catch you on the next one.